Imagine this. You've just bought a car thinking you've got a great deal. You drive it home, excited about your new ride, only to realize something is terribly wrong. The brakes make a horrible grinding noise, the tires are completely worn down, and every time you step on the gas, you feel like the car might just fall apart beneath you. What would you do? Would you keep paying for a car that barely works? Or would you fight back? That's exactly what Kim Marie Harrington did. She refused to pay another cent, telling the dealer to go pound sand. But was she really the victim of a bad sale, or was there something much deeper going on? As this case unfolded, what seemed like a simple disagreement turned into a shocking courtroom battle full of unexpected twists, accusations, and one unbelievable final revelation. Before we dive into this crazy story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing real-life cases. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. The deal that started it all. Joshua Barron had been selling used cars for years. He had seen it all: happy customers, angry buyers, and plenty of people who tried to get out of paying what they owed. But when Kim walked onto his lot, he had no idea that she would soon become one of his biggest headaches. She needed a car, something affordable and reliable, and Joshua had just the thing: a 2004 Oldsmobile Alero. It wasn't the newest model, but it ran fine, and for someone on a tight budget, it was a reasonable deal. Kim agreed to buy the car under a payment plan. She handed over $500 up front and promised to pay $200 a month until she had fully paid off the car. The deal was sealed, the paperwork signed, and Kim drove off, believing she had made a smart purchase. But just weeks later, her excitement turned into frustration. She reached out to Joshua, claiming the car was falling apart. The brakes were shot, the tires were unsafe, and she felt like she had been sold a vehicle that should have never been on the road. Joshua, however, didn't see the problem. She had bought the car as is, which meant that once she drove it off the lot, any issues became her responsibility. He reminded her of the agreement and told her she still needed to make her payments. That was when Kim snapped. She sent a message back with just 4 words: go pound sand. From that moment on, she refused to pay another dime. Joshua wasn't going to let her get away with it. If she wouldn't pay willingly, he would take her to court. If you're enjoying the story so far, take a second to smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and brings you more crazy stories, just like this one. The fight for the truth. Kim didn't come to court empty-handed. She was determined to prove that Joshua had tricked her into buying a car that was practically worthless. Standing before the judge, she made her case. She claimed that Joshua had promised the car was in excellent condition, but the moment she started driving it, the problems began. The brakes weren't just bad, they were dangerously close to failing. The tires were so worn that she felt unsafe on the road. She even had receipts to prove that she had already spent money trying to fix these issues. To support her argument, she mentioned that her boyfriend's friend, a mechanic, had looked at the car and confirmed it was in terrible shape. She insisted that Joshua had knowingly sold her a faulty vehicle, and she shouldn't have to keep paying for something that was essentially a death trap. For a moment, it seemed like she had a solid case. But then, Joshua's lawyer spoke up. He asked Kim a simple question. Was the mechanic who inspected her car certified? There was a long pause. Then Kim admitted the truth. Her so-called mechanic wasn't a professional at all. He was just a friend of her boyfriend. The judge's expression changed instantly. Without an official inspection or any real proof that the car was defective before she bought it, Kim's argument was suddenly much weaker. Joshua, on the other hand, had one crucial piece of evidence: the signed agreement that clearly stated the car was sold as is. It was starting to look like the case was going in his favor. But then a shocking twist changed everything. The car that disappeared. Just when it seemed like Joshua was about to win the case, he brought up something that caught everyone off guard. He turned to the judge and said, "She doesn't even have the car anymore." The entire courtroom fell silent. The judge looked at Kim, waiting for an explanation. Kim hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. It was true. She no longer had the car. It was gone. Not because she sold it, not because she returned it. She had crashed it. The car was completely totaled. Everyone in the room was stunned. Kim had spent all this time arguing about how unsafe the car was, how she shouldn't have to pay for it, and how Joshua had scammed her. Yet the car wasn't even in her possession anymore. It was destroyed. At that moment, the judge's decision became clear. The judge took a deep breath and looked at Kim. The contract was legally binding. She had agreed to buy the car as is. She had agreed to the payment plan. Whether the car had problems or not, she was still responsible for making the payments. And now the vehicle was completely gone. The case wasn't just about a faulty car anymore. It was about responsibility. The judge ruled that Kim had to pay the remaining balance of $2,020. She had lost. Joshua had won. There were no more arguments, no more excuses. The final decision had been made. This case leaves us with a lot to think about. If Kim had taken the car to a real mechanic before buying it, could this entire mess have been avoided? Did Joshua knowingly sell a bad car, or was Kim just looking for a way out of paying for something she no longer wanted? And here's the biggest question of all. Was this a fair ruling? Was Joshua in the right for expecting full payment, or should Kim have been given a break after what happened to the car? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think was in the wrong here? And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another crazy courtroom story.